Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Hillside Garden, and we're on my front porch today. As you see, uh, it's early spring, so a lot of the transplants are outside, kind of hardening off, and I have some seed trays here, some lettuce and multiple greens, etc., etc. Um, Today's video is going to be a little bit different, so there probably won't be a lot of talking. Hopefully, you don't mind that. I'm just going to show you some stuff. But what I want to do is, just sitting here thinking, you see all these plants and you see everything kind of start to grow, but how often do you get really, really close and just look at your plants at an eye level? We get the 1,000-foot view, look by, walk by, look, and we're like, okay, these plants look nice, they're growing, that's nice. But you know what? Let's go ahead and get really close today. Let's look really close at some of these plants and to see if we can notice just some intricacies, some, the details of the leaves, things like that, just take some time and don't always be in such a hurry. Just get down close and look at your plants. So that's what I'm telling you is the theme for today's video. So I'll go ahead and stop talking and we're going to get in here close and take a look and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So you guys, this is what I'm talking about right here. This is some Merlot. This is leaf lettuce. But you look at it from walking by, or you see it in your garden or whatever. But how often do you really get in there and look? Look at the stems and the way that the new leaves are forming on the stem. You can see how just the detail, the curl of the leaves, how they're all different. And just look at that. That's beautiful. Look at these plants. You can see the leaf, the veins in the leaves there. Just the different way the light's shining off the leaves gives a little bit different coloration to those, etc. And then if you go next door right here, this is a bronze leaf lettuce. And look at this. See all the different colorations right there? See how the leaves are a little bit different than the Merlot were? And I like this variety a lot because just the leaves, just how many different colors you can see right there. You walk by, you may or may not even be able to see this. Just look how close, just look. Look at that. Look how awesome that is. Just all those different colors. Okay, awesome. Now, I've made a couple videos in the past about knowing what your seedlings are supposed to look like. This is a perfect time to start looking at some of your seedlings as they come up and just kind of study them so that in the future you'll know what is and what is not coming up. So for example, right here, this is all in the same starter tray, by the way. See these little guys right here? This is mustard greens. It's a Japanese mustard. And look, these are the seedlings as they emerge. The first true seed leaves are starting to come up right there. Isn't that pretty? Look at that. So if you take some time like this, when you're looking at these things, you'll say, okay, I've deliberately planted these. This is what it's supposed to look like. When it comes up and it's a weed or something like that, you're not going to pull it up and think that it's a weed, or you're not going to let a weed grow because you think that it might be a different seedling. So if you're going to start your own plants, this is a great way to just get, acclimated and familiarized with your seedlings and what they are supposed to look like. All right, so I'll go ahead and stop here and we'll show you a different tray and look at some different greens and how they are different than the lettuce and the mustard greens that we just saw. All right, so check this one out. Now this is the Wild Rocket. So it's an arugula. This is more of the wild variety. And I think the taste on this is actually better than the commercial arugula, for that matter. That's just my opinion. But see how these leaves are different? Much different than the lettuce. Obviously, it's a different plant, different species, etc. But just look how these leaves have the purple vein, a little bit purpling on the stem. You can kind of check that out right down there. See all those different colors that you see as it kind of transitions up the stems. So yeah, these are just the Wild Rocket. Now, moving over here, skipping over some stuff. This is the just the typical arugula. This is your just generic run-of-the-mill arugula. And see how it's different than even the wild version of the arugula? The leaves are a little bit different. The coloration is a little different. But and the stem still has more of the purpling down there, etc., etc. And if you see these guys, like right here, these are the cotyledons or whatever. That's what first comes up and provides energy for the plant as it's growing. That's normal for those to turn yellow and fall off as the plant loses the need for those as it's taking all the energy. It has roots. It's establishing its own feeding system. So if you see that, maybe you've never paid attention. Maybe you've never been close enough to see that or even wonder what it was. Perfectly normal. It's perfectly normal. All right, so don't worry about that at all. And here's a better example right here on the Wild Rocket right there. See that guy? Yeah, that's gonna fall off. Plant doesn't eat it. It's perfectly normal. Don't worry. And moving back over here. Sorry about the shaking camera. Trying to do this without editing or pausing or anything. Kale. Yeah, so this is the kale. And you see how that's different than the other ones as well. The leaves are different shapes, different textures. This one here is a much more purplish variety, which I saved these seeds last couple years ago and using them, so it might have been crossed with something. I had several different kinds of kales and greens growing, so maybe that's a natural hybrid. Maybe that one just is a, just a different darker variant. But I mean, this one, check out the leaves. The seeds tag in the way. Sorry guys, but check it out. See how purple? Hold on a second. That was awful. I apologize. But see right down there how that is. There we go. So I apologize. But see the purple in there? Isn't that pretty cool, man? So yeah, maybe I found something here. Maybe this is just a unique coloration on this one plant that's the same as the others. But if you look like that, maybe you want to save this plant and keep it isolated so you can save the seeds from just this and keep this particular line growing. But you wouldn't have seen that if you just walked by or saw us at a garden center and just picked up a random 6-pack and threw it in the ground because you weren't paying attention. And that's okay. I mean, not everyone's going to grow their own plants from seed or pay this much attention, but you can see some really cool stuff if you just kind of pause and just, get close and just check it out. So I'm going to go show you some other stuff that I think is pretty cool that you may not have seen if you'd just walked right on by. All right, we are not deep in the forest. This is not a jungle. This is lavender. Yeah, so I had this growing it's grown for a couple of years, but because a deer trampled it, they didn't eat it. It's one of the few things they won't eat, but they just decided they'd step on it just to spite me, I suppose. But it was kind of growing and it got bent. It was kind of growing low to the ground. It was all twisted, and I rescued this thing and put it into a pot so I would save it. And I just want to go ahead and apologize for the shaky camera I just showed back there. I'm trying to do this without editing or anything like that. Just try to make it as quick as possible and everything. But check out this lavender. See how it kind of grows sideways? Because of the way the deer had stepped on it and how it kind of bent the stem, and it was kind of growing at a weird angle anyways. But yeah, as the leaves grow up like this, you can just kind of tell how the leaves divide, how the plants, if you look in there really close, just see how cool that is. I mean, this does look like you're almost deep inside some kind of forest and you're kind of chopping your way through the jungle or some kind of, outdoor scenario. But if you didn't know any better, you could always just pretend and just look at all these little different leaves and how they're kind of merging and stuff like that. But what I did think, and it's just kind of a off topic, but see how this kind of has that cascading look anyways? I may try to keep this in a container and make this into a not really a bonsai per se, but kind of use it as an accent piece, maybe, I'm trying to say, but like maybe kind of keep it as an angle like this on purpose, kind of take advantage of that natural shape that it's developed due to the trampling by the deer. So, that's pretty cool. I mean, just look at that. See how the leaves are all kind of making a new root plane. I don't know how to say that, but as the stem is growing horizontally, all the leaves are growing straight up. So that is pretty cool. May not have seen that. I mean, if you hadn't got down this close just to really take it and just examine it on that level. So I'll show you one more thing here I think is pretty cool, and I'll wrap it up after that, guys. So let me go ahead and pause here and I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, guys, the last thing I'm going to show you in this video, and I'm sorry it's getting a little bit long. See, these are the radishes I interplanted with the peas. I made a video on that a little bit ago, but you can see, look right here, the radishes, the bulbs, I guess, is starting to kind of swell on it. Let's check out as it's kind of just coming out of the soil like that. The one in the back is actually split a little bit. And I think that's because we had some high temperatures, then some cold temperatures, high temperature, cold temperature, and a lot of rain. These guys got pretty wet, so maybe that caused the bulb to swell and split. But anyhow, that's just kind of cool, like a little random detail. It's not going to affect the taste or anything like that. It's just not as cosmetic as you might find in the store, because of course everything we grow and buy at the store has to be perfect because it changes the way it tastes. Anyways, but yeah, just check it out. See as that's just slowly developing. Maybe you've never grown radish before, and you've never taken the time to really just see how they start. And this was just a plant a couple of days ago, and the roots are starting to really kind of flesh out right there and swell up. So that's pretty cool. So kind of pan back right here, go under. There's another radish right down in there. that's coming up. It's starting to fill out, and that's awesome. So as you kind of bring it back, kind of get the whole picture. Maybe you're just walking by and you see plants growing, and you don't like say, "Hey, okay, that's some pots and there's some plants growing." But if you don't really get in here, I mean, like really, really close, like right here, have you ever grown peas before? Did you know that they attach themselves, these little tendrils right there, how they're kind of attaching themselves to this old repurposed tomato cage for support? I don't know. Maybe you've never grown peas before. That's something interesting you may or may not have known about the pea plant, how they're naturally going to climb on this trellis as it grows up, this trellis here, and it's going to support itself, and the peas will then hang down. But you know, you may never have seen that if you had never gotten this close and really paid that much attention. So guys, I'll leave you with that, kind of pan you back over here to all these other plants. So, you know, pretend like you're just walking by. You're just leaving the house and you're just walking on by. You don't pay attention. You say, yep, those are some plants, and I'm just headed out the door, going about my business. And you may never have even paid attention to what you have growing down this level. So take some time, you know, just examine your plants, learn what the seedlings look like, look how they're developing, look at the unique traits of all these awesome plants and what makes them different, what makes each of them special. So this is Dave, your Hillside gardener here, telling you to just slow down and get a closer look. You may be surprised at what you see. All right, guys, so thanks for hanging out with me on the old front porch here, checking out some plants and seedlings. Hope your gardening season is going to go fine for you. And those of you who have a warm enough climate and you already have stuff out in the ground, best of luck to you. We should be joining you here probably the next 2 weeks where I live, and gardeners up north, I'm sorry, but you might have a little bit longer to go. Hold on, and we'll meet you out there in the garden. We'll see you next time here on the Hillside, guys. Bye-bye.